even though I thought that we can accept the introduction.
Call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the October 11th.
So the change that was supposed to be made, Bob, is I made two motions that night. One was resolution 33, which is enclosed. The motion I made before that was to introduce the local law with approval. So we did the introduction of local law number 1/2021. We all approved it, then we did the motion for the public hearing and approved that. It was two separate motions, and the first one got included. And it should have a copy of the local law in terms of.
So all that being said, we can't do anything about that tonight, right?
No, it should be included.
Okay. Will you make a motion to that effect?
I will make a motion that we again table the minutes from the October 11, 2021 meeting to include the introduction of the local law number 1/2021.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Panek, to table the approval of the October 11th, 2021 minutes.
Councilman GENESEE?
Yes.
Councilmember Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Clement?
Yes. Now we have the approval of the minutes of November 8th.
All right. It's really the first time I'm looking at them. There's nothing in my email, so I could get an advanced look at them. But so far, the public hearing at 7:15 actually never existed. That needs to be removed. Under communications, we have a BW Solar and a First Light Company request that are they appear like motions. Motion by Councilman Blank, seconded by Councilman Blank. But there were never any motions on those. I'm kind of confused what these are. Should they be completely eliminated, or were they things that were communicated to us and we just eliminate the motions on them? Opinion?
A discussion, but no motion.
Yeah, I say we get rid of the motion second behind both of those, because there was discussion, but it's all open discussion.
My fault, sorry guys.
All right, so where are we?
Yeah, I got one more change too.
Okay, what,
Okay, the first change is this, that shouldn't be there.
this is true.
second change was Ronald was talking about back in communications. So we need the motion to sign there.
I don't know if you're involved.
All that is just a communication.
Yeah, they're just communicating. We just don't want that to be confusing to the reader.
Yeah, and this
And
Same thing, delete that.
And then the change I have is on page 1. Councilman Mullen called a special public hearing for introduction of local law number 1 cannabis of 2021. Called a special public hearing for when and where, and why isn't it included in here? If there's a special public hearing and it was done by resolution, it should say the resolution number, should be a copy of it in here, and this doesn't even say when or where it was. And I don't have it with me tonight.
Based on that, you're gonna have to table it, right?
We're gonna have to take it, because that's gotta be included in the minutes, because we've had a special meeting.
Okay. Will that be your motion?
Yeah. So I make motion that we table November 8, 2021 minutes to be corrected and approved at the next town board meeting with said changes.
Second?
Second.
That's how we're doing.
Councilman James Stephen?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement?
Yes. Okay, moving right along here. We need to have a delegate to the Association of Towns to represent the town of Stafford. Oh, here, this is right there.
This is the one at the table.
Oh, yeah,
I make a motion we approve supervisor's report for November 2021.
Second.
Second by Pacer?
Yes.
Roll call.
Councilman James Stephen?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement?
Okay. Who would like to be the representative of the Association of Towns?
I have a question on that. Does that have to be a town board member?
I think you have to be a member of the Association of Towns, and that goes along with being a board member.
Okay.
So, can anybody, I'm just curious now that you answered that way. Does anybody, or could anybody join the association and represent the town or not? Or does it have to be town board approved?
Well, I think it has to be approved by the town. I mean, we've got expenses that are going to be incurred, which the town will cover.
What did that delegate do? Who was the past delegate?
I was for the last year, and everything got canceled due to COVID, so it was kind of a non-assignment.
They didn't do Zoom or anything?
Not that I saw.
I'll volunteer to be the delegate, as it's approved by the board. Unless somebody needs to nominate me.
No, I'll nominate you.
I'll second it. Actually, it says only a delegate for a specific meeting, I believe.
It's a specific meeting, and I think it has to do with just voting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
It has to do with what?
Voting.
Okay, roll call on that.
Councilman James Duyssen?
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yep.
Councilman Ronald Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement?
Next item on the agenda is approve Lindsay order to continue the term on the staff on the planning. She has submitted a letter.
I've read the letter.
Yeah.
I make motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Pacer, the appointment or reappointment of Lindsay Yoder to the planning board. Roll call again.
Councilman James Duyssen?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement?
And town board to approve Tim Thomas to fill the vacancy on the Stafford zoning board.
And again, I read the letter. His credentials are good. He comes from Parma. He's got a lot of experience in zoning and building. And I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Panek to approve the appointment of Tim Thomas to fill a vacancy on the zoning board. Roll call.
Councilman James Duyssen?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer?
Yes.
Councilman Mullen?
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek?
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement?
Next is, we need to have supervisor, deputy supervisor, and Robert Pacer and Councilman Ron Panek to sign a pre-authorized fund transfer agreement for the town of Stafford. And I start
Can we ask what that transfer is for? Is it just going from one account to another?
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I'll read the undersigned wire transfer customer, herein called customer, hereby requests Five Star Bank, herein called bank, to act upon instructions from customer to transfer funds on the terms and conditions set forth in this funds transfer agreement, herein called agreement. The funds transfer service is offered by bank as a method to transfer funds electronically for a customer. In consideration of the mutual covenants hereafter contained, customer and bank agree as follows. The bank is hereby authorized to make such transfers upon its receipt of instructions, written or oral, including telephonic, of any one of the following named officers or agents of the undersigned or their delegated agents. Authority to make the transfer, to issue other directions and instructions shall be conclusively presumed if another person other than the lip caller listed below can verify all information upon the call made by the wire room personnel. Indicate the phone numbers below for callback. Verification. I am required to sign it. Councilman Pacer is required, and Panek is required.
Why would I be required and not the other board members? And
I was gonna ask that question, why?
no different than any of the other board members.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is what I got from our bookkeeper.
my question is, why did they pick Ron and not one of us or all of us, like Ron said, if we're all on equal terms here?
Now, is this in substitute for what we normally pass during our organizational meeting, which names Five Star Bank as our, where we keep our deposited money?
Well, let me read on here. It says, must list 3 authorized individuals. I got this from our bookkeeper. Each named officer, agent, or delegated agent of the undersigned is referred to herein either singularly or collectively as authorized agent. The bank is also hereby authorized to act upon such other directions and instructions relating to transfers, including the cancellation or termination of prior instructions for each transfer as may be provided bank from time to time by any authorized agent. In the event of cancellation of a transfer already made, bank will attempt to recover the funds from the transferee using whatever steps it deems reasonable to accomplish the same. And the undersigned will indemnify bank against any cost, expenses, damages, and liabilities, including attorney's fees, which bank may incur in attempting to effect such recovery of funds.
That almost sounds like a different resolution. Hang on, let's see if I can
From what
find
I gather is, I believe this is to authorize 3 of us to be able to transfer funds electronically via email or voice, where we haven't been able to do that in the past.
Okay.
That's right, that's correct.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I've worked on a number, I know this form pretty well from a number of transactions, and it's basically the 3 people who sign the agreement in those 3 lines, they can call the bank and say, send the money to whoever. Like if you're buying a piece of property or something like that, then you can, whoever signs the form can call them or email them and say, I authorize you to initiate the wire.
That's what I gathered from it. Just giving those 3 people permission to do that electronically, verbally.
Is Five Star Bank the only bank the town deals with?
Yes.
Is that where all the money is?
Yes.
Yes. I've got Heidi's email here, and it's, it doesn't give us much of a clue.
My question is, why is this necessary?
It says, good afternoon. Please see attached for a resolution that needs to be passed at the December 13th meeting in order for the Town of Stafford to invest with New York class. And now, when you look at, so you have New York class doc, let me see. Come on.
Isn't that up next on the agenda?
What's that, I'm sorry?
Isn't that up next on the agenda?
All right.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So did we get this thing in advance, or didn't we?
Oh, it's
I'm just trying to look through the emails and see if they have any. Who sent this resolution? Was it from Heidi or was it from Marcy?
Marcy.
All right, let me try sorting on Marcy's name. All right, so that's the New York class one, was sent out 12/9. So this one's just cold. I haven't seen it before.
we do, we have this, and then we also have municipal cooperation resolution, which talks about New York class, municipal cooperation, okay? In either case, I don't understand why we have to have this municipal cooperation resolution and send our funds with other towns to be invested or whatever, when we've always done them on our own.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And if we're not gonna do this, there's no sense passing this.
I mean, there's no sense in passing this.
That's my understanding. I'm hitting here at 10,000 feet, but that's my understanding of this when I was looking into it. Because if you're not gonna do this, you don't need to do this, because there's no other reason to transfer funds. And I'm not comfortable with the fact that we can transfer funds by phone call, by email, and have it go into a municipal cooperation. These are compound funds that should be protected there. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you on that other, I read that, I didn't. So,
All right, it's resolution 42 is the one she sent.
Yeah.
This one here, there is nothing, there's no, where did this come from? You're saying it came from Heidi?
Marcy,
Marcy?
He's the only one that has a copy of it.
What's that?
Bob's the only one that has a copy of it. We didn't get a copy.
All right. Good way of not getting it passed.
So if nobody lifts up the motion, then it doesn't move forward. Right?
correct. I don't know what this is going to mean as far as doing business.
I think what it means is, like, if there's an emergency transfer of funds, I only know this from being in my last office, that sometimes certain people, you can call them, in this day and age, I really think it's that simple. I don't think it's any more complicated than moving funds other than a paper trail. You gotta have a paper trail. That's what you're asking for. That, in my opinion, that's what they're asking for. It's just a couple
It
signatures.
should have been copied so everybody could read it, and it's all in there. I'm gonna do that. Stand by so we can look at it, what the deal with this. Huh?
Well, even the second one, and that, I don't know a lot of enthusiasm on that.
I don't either. That's what I said, I wouldn't want to agree to go over some municipal cooperation.
No, there's no account.
When it comes to funds, investing.
And again, these are normally, both of these are normally motions we do in our organization.
Not these specific ones.
No, not these, but very similar ones.
Yeah, like our investing and our banking, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So these are adaptions of our investment resolution we do during the organization meeting and our bank one that we do during the reorganization meeting.
All this is doing is opening us up to a municipal agreement, where our other one is not, I mean.
Now, our other one's not a municipal agreement.
This is what, I'll say it out loud, this is what caught my eye when I read it, that is not, I'm not comfortable with, is the second sentence. It says, whereas the town of Stafford wishes to invest portions of its available investment funds in cooperation with other corporations and our districts pursuant to New York Class Municipal Cooperation Agreement. And I'm not comfortable with that.
No, that makes sense.
Well,
Do you even have that much money to invest?
Oh, we always have, coming up pretty quick, we're gonna have a pile of money coming in. So how do we hold it?
Pile of money coming in by the
Tax.
taxes?
Yeah.
But isn't that money already spoken for through our budget?
Budget and investing the unexpended amounts are two different things.
What unexpended amounts do we have now?
Whatever remains, should be right in the supervisor's report, shouldn't it?
Are those available to us? I mean, the last monthly report I got from the supervisor had something like cash money market account. Is that what you're talking about? I got one like,
Yeah.
I don't know, last June.
Yes.
So the last one I got had like, and why is money taken out of that? As we need it?
Yes.
Oh. So that's where all the taxes go?
Yes.
Into that fund?
So how much money's in there now?
Yeah. I'm about to report how much is in that now.
I'm looking. I don't think so. There it is.
Okay. Oh, what are you looking at? This is,
Oh, that's why I put that.
fire protection.
The last one I got shows it, the balance in October was $506,078.
General funds, capital project.
That's under the cash money market. And it looked like it increased by 194,984, and it decreased by 47,225. Do you know if we ever got the rest of the American Rescue Fund money?
That would be a question for Heidi. Our bookkeeper. Okay. Back here. Alright, detail of revenues.
I just saw it.
It goes right under fire protection though.
I have no idea.
I'm doing the same thing you did.
I saw it. I just-
Highway, capital, water fund.
Yeah, this is the last one.
and
The front page, Ross.
General fund? Yeah, let's see. Checking certificates of deposit, money market, yeah. it'd
Oh,
be
so
the
that's,
same.
yeah, that's the November one,
Yeah.
okay. So it went down 64,000, 69.
Yes,
And then we just look through this to see where it went? Well, not that, because I don't have that one.
there you go.
You want me to read this?
Well, we got it. It's the first couple page, number 1 and 2 there, that tells you what it's all about. I can make a motion on it. Didn't time to read it. I never read it. But
This doesn't strike me like it should be a barn drain. where if we don't pass it this go around and we want to get some actual detail, because everything here is new to us. It's unusual for them to, says this came from Marcy also?
Yeah. Yep. That's just a copy there.
Any chance of getting her on the phone? Find out what's hot about this?
Don, that, paragraph you were reading, it said in cooperation amended and reinstated as of March 29th, 2019, so was the town already in that?
No, that's when the agreement, the inter-municipality agreement was first formed.
Oh, okay.
Got a number for her?
I would hope before the town decided to invest all of our money, they'd have a public hearing on that.
It's all in the general fund, there isn't any outside, but there isn't any other investment, and if there was, it would have to be by town board.
Again, normally, there are a series of motions we do in the organizational meeting that sets what we do and who we do business with for that coming year. And normally our investment policy is covered in the organizational meeting, and what bank is handling our unexpended funds, which takes place during the organizational meeting. That's why I'm wondering why are we suddenly so hot to pass these tonight when they would go so well with the organizational meeting.
Okay, you want to call her 739?
Hang on. I'm going to get to the phone portion. Okay, 585 739
Yeah, on this one.
739
6159.
6159. Okay, I'm going to throw it on speaker.
She has another business number, but I don't have it in my phone.
Hi, this is Marcy. I can't take your call right now, so send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a good day.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi Marcy, this is Ron Panek and actually the rest of the town board. We're sitting in the meeting and we're wondering about a resolution for, actually we're wondering about a couple of resolutions. The resolution for wire transfer and the resolution for joining New York class. And we've made the conclusion that these are very similar to what we normally do in our organizational meeting. And we're wondering why we would be doing something like this a month early. So if you would you give us a call back, and I can pop you on speakerphone at 585-815-9321. Thank you.
Well, that being said, I guess we concluded we can't do anything about this. Shouldn't do anything about this tonight. I can't see where it's,
Isn't this the one that, all right, and this is just going from memory, so you guys tell me if you have the same memory.
I got more
Weren't they talking about this last year, that they had signed up for funds that were giving them exceptional returns?
we never,
You remember that? And we never bought into it.
no,
We never volunteered to do it. if I recall.
No, that's right, you're right.
Now, all right, now everybody, I mean, myself included, everybody's gotten the good returns in the stock market now. And depending how the Federal Reserve meeting comes out, that all may just tank. So, excuse me if I'm not super enthused about doing this.
We can't, as a municipality, we can't invest in the stock market. We can't do that.
No, but so then what is this?
Only in CDs, right, Bob?
Yeah, we can revise, literally revise it, right. And the difference between the CDs and what we're getting in interest now is negligible.
Right.
So,
then what's New York class? Municipal cooperation? I think this is a great, why don't we just table this till our reorganization meeting?
Make the motion.
Will Marcy and them be at that? Do they come to that?
Yeah, it's at our next town board meeting, it's part of the meeting.
Oh, okay. But she'll be there if there's any financial questions?
We normally tie them in by telephone.
Okay.
okay, back on the agenda.
So you know, table them both.
Okay, and then we better do a regular motion. I make a motion, we table the two financial, do you need separate resolutions, or can I do it all in one resolution?
That's two separate.
Okay, I make a motion that we table the wire transfer question until the organizational meeting.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Panek, second by Councilman Duyssen. Roll call.
Roll call, Councilman James Deason.
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer.
Yes.
Councilman Don Mullen.
Yep.
Councilman Ronald Panek.
Yes.
Supervisor Russell.
And the municipal cooperation resolution.
Well, that's one of them says we can wire money based on authorization of three of us, and yeah, you're just asking for the resolution. I make a motion, we table the New York class resolution until we have a little more information on it.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman James Deason.
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer.
Yes.
Councilman Don Mullen. Councilman Ronald Panek.
Yes.
Supervisor Russell Smith.
Yes.
We did have some other stuff that's not on the agenda.
Okay, Linda. You're next.
The Stafford Historical Society. Stafford Historical Society has not been able to get the cemetery repairs done that we asked the money from the Stafford Town Board. And it's also the same, not the same money, but an equal money that the Historical Society puts up, another $1,000. We haven't been able to get those repairs done. Our company that we deal with, Wolcott Cemetery Repairs in Warsaw, say that they have been busy. They haven't been able to get enough workers. They've had more burials than usual. COVID has been a problem. And bottom line is we didn't get our work done this year. We're coming up to the end of the hours here. And I'm just wondering if there's a possibility that we could put that $1,000 in next year's budget, in
I
addition
think
to
it
what's
is,
there.
it is in the budget.
No, this year's money that didn't get spent is the question. And it is in the budget for next year as well, but it's a different $1,000. So the question is, can it be carried over?
Any opinions on that? I don't see why not.
Well, wouldn't it be the case, it's always the case, you can budget for something, but if the service is unavailable, and like we're running into right here until later in the year, wouldn't we have them just reference back to the original timing and pull the money out from there? We wouldn't pull it just because the current, we go into the end of the year, we have unexpended balances.
Right.
But if we have bills that are from the previous year, we will pull that out of its unexpended balances. I think that happens automatically if you bill them correctly. But again, this would be a Marcia question.
Yeah.
So we're coming up to the end of the budget year, correct?
Yes.
And we have not spent it. And I wouldn't have expected that I could ask the man for a bill for undone work
No, I'm talking about when he does the work.
when he does it.
We need to find out from Marcy if that would come out of, if it's bill that we originally arranged for in the current year. Which does that come out of?
So, if he could possibly be able to do this work in March or April, could he be using 21's money?
That's what we have
We'll
to ask.
find it. We'll
Would
find
you
it.
say yes?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Well, that would be wonderful if we
Yeah,
could.
yeah. Okay.
I mean, what if Steve orders a load of diesel fuel in for this year? And it doesn't come in till January, but it was budgeted to be in December. Do we use up his entire, do we dig into his 2022?
No.
No. That's
But I
the
think she
analogy
might-
I'll use.
Well, I think she might be asking also, is it, the $1,000 is budgeted, what if it comes into at 1,400? 1,000 from this year and 1,000 from last year, is that what you're asking, Linda? If
No.
it would be more than like 2,000?
No, because I get together with this fella and we decide what we can do for $1,000, but it's really 2,000 because 1,000 is from the Historical Society. So I would ask him if he can get that done for us as early in spring, but then I would hope to be able to tell him I could do that much more again in '22.
Right.
I think the question to ask is how late in 2022 can you still use unexpended
2021 funds.
That's the question.
But
Yeah.
the only thing that I would ask you to remember is we have to get through winter so that he could, I mean, this has been unusual, and I would have hoped that he could get work done on these beautiful days that we have
Right.
here.
What would happen if we hadn't budgeted anything in the new year for it?
Then we wouldn't have had any work done. Historical Society.
Yeah, no, the money doesn't go away. The money is still there from the previous year's budget.
That's wonderful news.
We haven't done any budget because a lot of times we'll do transfers to other accounts to use up the unexpended, am I right?
Right, but we just need to know how late in the year. can we
That's
do
right.
that. Yeah.
Very good.
So, yeah, an email to Heidi will clear this right up.
An email from. All right.
Okay, next, Kathy Whittle.
I only have two things, I think, tonight. One, update on the Water District 12, how are the easements coming along? It's been a month, I haven't bugged anybody.
No, it's been taken care of. They changed, they were having a problem with an easement on a certain piece of property. They've changed they've changed the direction of where they're gonna put the pipe. And the last I knew, they were gonna submit it out, put it out to bid in January.
Okay. Okay, that's one. I know in the past meetings, we've talked about looking at zoning issues or zoning codes, fees or whatever you were gonna do with the zoning department. So I asked about a special use permit, and I talked to Bill Van Alst. And well, I talked to Jerry first, and he said he didn't have anything to do with special use permits. Get the application from Julie, which I did, took it to the planning, well, I didn't fill it out, I talked with Bill Van Alst, because I was trying to determine the fees that I was gonna have to use for a special building permit, for a special use permit. So I was told it was $75 and then $75 for a public hearing fee. So now when I asked Bill, what if I wanted to have 2 small businesses? Because they're sort of both seasonal. And he said he would get with Jerry as whether or not that would be 2 special use permits or 1. But then Jerry emailed Bill back and said there's a $200 one-time fee. I didn't see that anywhere on the website, under the fees. A $200 zoning fee. So I guess what I'm getting at is who actually sets these fees? Because I never heard of that, and all of a sudden it popped up. And then, so that's one. So actually I had another one. Did we ever decide, because I tried calling Jerry this week and I keep getting his voicemail, because I wanted to set up an appointment to come in and see him. Did we ever decide, Bob, this is a question for you, did we ever figure out, does he do timesheets? Does he, I mean, he seems to have an awful lot of time off, and we only have one person to get a hold of. I mean, then somebody mentioned something about, oh, he has a lot of comp time. Well, maybe we need 2 people back instead of just 1. I mean, he told me he works 15 hours a week here. And we used to have 2 guys that worked 3 hours a day. So at least you could come in and get a hold of someone a certain day. Now he only works 3 days a week, but it's really hard to get a hold of him. So I guess I'm asking the board.
Lately, he's been on quarantine.
Okay, well, his voicemail doesn't say that. That I guess you could say just, I'm not in the office.
Does his voicemail have a cell phone number?
No, it says leave, I don't believe it did. I think it just said, leave me a message and I'll give you a call back. But I mean, he told me he's in the office usually 9 to 2, so I just called a couple times. I was out of town, so it was easier for me to call. I couldn't drive here from New York to check his door.
That also sounds like something that we could and should deal with at our organizational meeting.
Right. I would just like to see 2 back and have them 3 days a week. I mean, they worked 18 hours, 2 of them. And now he works 15 hours, but he's getting paid for 2 people because his pay was doubled. And he still makes way more than any other zoning person in the county for 15 hours a week.
On a, are you saying on an hourly basis he earns more?
I don't know, I was told he was on salary, so yeah.
No, I mean, if you equate out the other towns based on hours worked.
No, I think he makes way more because there's towns that pay, like, they work 24 hours a week and they make like $12,000 a year.
Where's that?
I believe it was Elba.
Isn't
was one
Elbow, isn't Elbow where they do both town and village by the same guy?
Could be.
All right, because I tried sorting through all that from the records every town has, and you have a lot of these guys are working either. Batavia has a lot of them. They're working, Batavia is their main job, and then one of the smaller towns is their auxiliary job. Or you have ones that are doing town and village together, which can be really deceptive. And that's
But
what
you
the
shouldn't
Alba
base,
does.
you
is-
shouldn't base his salary on what other towns are doing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's never here. I
Right.
mean, he's on salary, he's getting paid whether he's here or not.
no, I'm just answering this. Il said that he gets paid more than any other town.
Well, he does.
Yeah,
He actually gets paid more from Bergen than he does from us.
per hour, yes, because he only works there 6 hours a week.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is,
And the reason why I asked about his cell phone number is I asked him specifically, when people call for your answering machine, and leave a message on your answering machine, how do you get back to him? He goes, well, I offered both the answering machine and my cell number is right on the message.
No, it's not.
well, maybe it is, I don't recall. Once I got the message the other day, I just hung up because I was out of town. But I guess my other question is, if he only works 15 hours a week, how does he earn comp time if he doesn't do time sheets or nobody knows when he's working? Because Bob told me he didn't know when Jerry worked.
Well, I imagine the comp time was from when he was being paid for just the one job, but he was doing both jobs when Gene was out. That's conjectural. We'll have to ask Jerry specifically if he has any comp time. I'm not aware of any comp time. I'm not aware of a comp time agreement.
You made that comment last time we talked about it.
No.
Ron, you made that comment last time we asked about it. We probably getting comp,
I
probably
don't
getting comp
know.
time.
I know that he filled in without being paid when this all came about, when COVID came about. And I conjectured on, was it comp time? I don't know. And when we had the previous conversation, I said, I don't know.
You never said I don't know. You said he's probably
When-
getting comp time.
When does he does not fill out timesheets then?
No. Again, all of this, I think, would be organizational meeting. We can straighten a lot of that out, I believe. Bring it up and, I mean, he does work from home, or he says he does, I
Yeah.
believe him. And if he's out doing inspections, he'll be out of the office, obviously.
Yeah, he come over and did my inspection of my barn at 7:30 in the morning, and I don't think he starts work till like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Why he was at my house at 7:30 in the morning, I have no idea.
Well, he doesn't, you know.
Again, if you go back a year ago, one of the things we raised at the organizational meeting is we wanted him to do timesheets, and we also asked for the old building permit listing that we used to get every meeting from the building inspector to tell us what the activity level was. And that's gone by the wayside. We asked for that.
Why is that? You guys don't follow up on things when you request them?
Excuse me?
You didn't follow up on it, and you said you requested him to do timesheets,
Yes.
and that it went by the wayside. So you didn't
Yeah,
follow
because
through it.
we move on to other subjects.
So you just let it go by the wayside and just didn't follow up on it.
So we'll cover
That's a
that.
year ago.
We'll cover that in January?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the organizational meeting.
Anything else?
I have a question. I was wondering, John, if I might ask a question about the Stafford Country Club's congregation that we said in a resolution here in October that we would send it out.
I have a copy of it, Linda, and I just gotta get together with the town clerk and get it printed out. Now, how would you like it delivered? Would you like Bob to take it over?
I just assumed it would go through the mail, I have no idea.
Okay.
But they do have a post office box rather than a street address here, and it is not the same address as up on Evans Street in Batavia. So it's a post office box.
Somebody will do it.
Do you need the PO box number?
I thought I gave it to you at one time, if I had to say, I would say
It's all right.
box number 63, but Sal could give you that at the post office.
Yep.
Okay, with my understanding, Justin had your paper to put it on?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's resolution 32.
Thank you.
But is it at all appropriate to ask the question, how it went out on the internet, and the people at the country club were definitely delighted to receive the commendation or whatever the word is, but they never got a mailed copy, and it's never been fundable in the office.
I've got some paper when we
And I apologize, I told you I'd have it by tonight, but I've been out of power for over 2 days, so I've had no access to anything electronically, so I'm sorry. Yeah. But I do have it with me, so I was gonna address it.
Is this the time for like open questions? I don't really, or Peter, I don't really know.
He's from the solar company.
So, I just don't know how this works, sorry. So, yeah, my client, VW Solar, submitted an application for a solar facility, you probably all saw last month. I just want to know, is the town board going to be the lead agent for the secret review, or are they deferring that to the planning board?
The way we have it, the approval by the town board should be via special use permit. The required seeker shall include but not limited to information and recommendations developed by the Stafford Citizen Solar Committee. The town board is responsible for the completion of the seeker and the final approval of the permit required for the solar energy project. So yes, it'll be us.
Cool.
And I would recommend that we draw from both the planning board and the available people from our study group. I know Sandy's pretty tied down, she's the logical candidate, but maybe we can draw in Bernie, or was it Leonard?
I understand that it's in
do. At
Florida.
the end of the day, there were 2 people on that committee, myself and Sandy.
What's that, Linda?
I understand Lenny is in Florida.
Well, we can get who we can that participate. Would be my recommendation. Now, do we even start on this till we know if there are some open variances they're looking for that, should we start on this once those are resolved, or?
I mean, I would say that, while the plan might change, the environmental impact under seeker may not change. So I think it would be good to get started on that and, kind of contact the DEC and whatever other organizations you need to while the zoning goes through, but while the zoning process is ongoing. So that way, if there's whatever happens with zoning, you're kind of ahead of the game. Because, while the plan may change maybe, because if the variances are not acquired, it should not affect the overall environmental impact that the seeker review is trying to get through.
Well, the only thing is Huntington, your guy that's been speaking here before?
Yeah.
He was putting it out there that until these are decided on, he doesn't know if he has a viable project or not. So
I will say the variances are really important to having a viable project. But what we would like to see happening is the administrative process kind of keep going while we're working through everything. The county's reviewing, because of where it is as far as town lines, the county's reviewing it simultaneously with the zoning reviewing it. And I would say, well, I agree that there's possibly a project, might not be viable if the variances aren't there, that it'd be good to kind of get the ball rolling from your guys' view, because besides the variances, the bulk of it is going to be this permit and the town board. So that's just my, personal request.
I guarantee you you're not gonna be able to cover a seeker like that in a regular meeting. We're gonna have to have some additional meetings.
Which is why I think it's good to get all around.
Do we know the variances that they're asking for?
I don't believe we should move forward until we have the variances.
Neither do I, but,
It's, the setbacks are the stickling, are the problem as far as,
Our solar law.
yeah.
well,
So
that's not the only thing, I thought it was also the home value.
Property
Yeah.
tax value.
That's in the solar law. So basically what they're asking, what you're asking is for us to change our solar law.
I'm not asking that right
Oh.
now. I'm asking who's gonna be the lead agent for seeker and the
Oh.
environmental process.
And that's us. And
Yeah.
our response is, we really haven't looked into it because our plan was, once these are resolved, we would move forward on the seeker. At least that was my impression. Now, others may have a difference of opinion, but
No, I agree with that.
I'd be more than happy to help out doing research and be on that committee. To take, I've only met Sandy Swanson a couple times, but I know she has a bunch of information on it.
There's 2 volumes, and then there was a summary, which was, that was extensive also. She spent hundreds of hours on that.
And she's just out of town or unavailable or so?
No, her husband is seriously ill, and she can't really leave the house for any extended periods of time. so.
Yeah, okay. No, that actually.
But aren't we supposed to have isn't there a planning board meeting on the 20th?
ZBA is
Zoning
on
is
the
the
20th, I think.
20th, yeah.
Oh, TBA, thank you.
And isn't there a public hearing that night?
No, they're not going to have a public hearing, I heard that.
I don't think, yeah, because my understanding is at the last zoning meeting, they had just been forwarded copies of the application, and we're also unfamiliar with the solar law, so they wanted more time. I think they're allotted 62 days from the last meeting, and it was only been 30, so if that's the time, that makes sense.
Sounds like that's still be discussing. I have, while you're here, I have one other concern.
Okay.
Yes, for BW. In both of the applications, there's incorrect information. I think the application should be withdrawn until that is corrected.
Well, what is the incorrect information specifically?
And operations and maintenance plan, under reporting, it says, provide reports in January for the prior year to the operations manager of the New York CDG Ontario 4 LLC, which is incorrect, and the code enforcement officer of the town of Phelps. Both applications have that wording and they're incorrect. It's the wrong LLC and it's the wrong reporting town. And I think they should be corrected and reapplied for.
I can take that up with my client and see what they would like to do. And, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily small typographical error is the basis for rejection by any means. That seems a little unreasonable, but,
That's not a small error.
okay. And then, but I'll talk to my client and we can resubmit and submit corrected pages for them to be subbed in for the application.
There was, for the county, there was some type of, was that application from our zoning board, or was that from you folks? with the county?
My understanding is the zoning board sent it up to the county
All right.
for review because of the property being within 500 feet of town lines. It's required to be reviewed by the county.
All right.
And the county didn't act on it.
The county has not made any decision on it, to my understanding, as of this moment.
I don't think they're going to either.
Going to make it to what?
What information came down that they didn't act on it, and I don't think they're going to.
You think they'll, if I act on it, do you mean defer until the zoning board makes a decision, or what?
Or to make a recommendation to the town.
Yeah, because the information we got is, it was withdrawn.
The county application is being withdrawn, is what you're saying?
Was withdrawn.
Yeah, that is my understanding as well, yes.
All right, who withdrew it?
My client withdrew it, because, give me one second, I just have to remember why. Okay, so the county, this is going through the zoning board. The county was looking at more kind of, looking at the zoning variances themselves, as opposed to the county looking at really the interaction between two municipalities. The county's supposed to take a larger overall view of it, but they were deferring until really the zoning board makes their own decision, because of the language in the law. So we withdrew it because if they were gonna just say, we're gonna wait for the zoning board decision, then we would withdraw it until the zoning board makes their decision and the county would take, what they're supposed to do, the overarching view between municipalities as opposed to taking a zoning variance like that.
So this has to be acted upon by the zoning board within 63 days.
They have to set a public hearing within 63 days.
And
then
this coming Monday, the 20th, will be how many?
I believe it'll certainly won't be 62.
No, but if they have to wait another month,
Yeah,
will they be over their 63 days?
I do not know off the top of my head. I can look at my calendar, but it would take me a little bit to just count up. It'll be about 2 months, so we'll be right on the cusp.
Well, we have to have those fixed anyway, so that really is a huge thing. So the 62 days should start over from when those are fixed.
That's why I said reapply, because
Right,
you can start the
reapply.
clock over, right? Yeah.
Right, I agree.
I think the first submission was somewhere around election day. So the first week of November plus 63 days is probably the first week of January.
It was at our town board meeting.
But that would, yeah, that.
Did we ever pass a resolution accepting them?
No. No, they sent the applications in, they gave the checks to the town clerk, and from that point on, they assumed that their applications were valid.
Right.
And you're asking the town to vote, or?
No, that is a long ways away.
No, I understand, but you're asking them to move forward with something when there's still open issues with variances?
What I'm asking them to move forward with, I'm not even asking them to move forward, I'm making sure, so as part of any kind of variance application or site plan or anything like that, you need what's called seeker approval, which is an environmental review. It's a state environmental quality review, it's S&P law, so. And as part of that, the one government body has to be a lead agent, and that lead agent is responsible for contacting the other government entities that oversee projects like this. So, as written into the solar ordinance, the town board is the lead agent, which means their job is to DEC, go to the county, talk to the zoning board, and is bring in the solar committee folks and just kind of organize everybody and say, okay, we need to review the environmental features of this project, and then you make your determination on that. Whether it has there's a bunch of different classifications according to the law too, whether it's like a type 1 action, or a non-listed action, or a type 2 action. Type 2 being it has basically a major impact in environmental quality, type 1 being it's a listed action that has a minor impact, and then unlisted action is it's not listed in any of the various types of actions. It's like, you're gonna build a dam, it's gonna be huge, you're gonna clog a river, you're gonna flood a town, that's like a type 2 action. So, you build a solar facility, it's somewhere in the middle depending on the size. Or if you're just building a barn, it's unlisted, not really huge impact. And somebody, some kind of government entity has to take charge of looking at the environmental impacts. And I'm just seeing who is going to do that for this project. And what they're asking is, should we even start that until we know for sure the project's going to happen, because you need your zoning variance.
Right.
Well, it sounds like that seeker is gonna take more than 62 days. Certainly you don't think we're gonna have that done by January.
That is a totally different timeline.
Oh,
so each
Okay.
board has their own timeline.
Okay.
So For example, the zoning board, we met in front of the zoning board last month, which means from that time forward, presenting the variances we requested, they have 62 days to set the public hearing. This is just on the zoning timeline. Then after that, they have 62 days to decide what they want to do. So that's, a 4-month process. That's just the zoning variance application.
Although, don't forget, a lot of this is based on, you're normally getting a variance for, if it's a 25-foot setback and you want to do a 20-foot setback next to your neighbor's house when you put up a fence, it has a lot less ramifications than you want us to remove an entire section, you want us to waive an entire section of our law, and then get into distance variances, which are the more normal.
Yeah,
So-
so it's that time the 62 days can be extended, but it's mutual agreement between the the zoning board and the applicant. And that's really for anything, not just us, that's for if you're doing your special use permit, I think that also is like set the public hearing, after that they have to decide. If whatever happens with the zoning variance, the application itself is separate and has its own different procedural rules. So if, they reject the application or ask us to resubmit and start the town board clock over, it doesn't necessarily start over the zoning board clock, because that's separate tracks if you kind of follow. And, yes.
So right now, you guys are stuck at the county level?
Right now, we're in the zoning process of the variances. And that will require a county review as well. And then separately from that is the actual application itself, which has a whole bunch of other requirements besides the 3 zoning variances.
So if the county decides that they don't want to accept the modification of the variances, what happens at that point? You have to amend those?
Then there's basically, you can change your plans and resubmit, you can appeal the county decision, and there's a couple different avenues that you can go through that.
So, yeah, think about what I was gonna say. So, repeat again, who withdrew the
applicant
The
withdrew
application to the
the county review of the applicant
Yeah.
withdrew the county review.
who, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, the applicant, like the BW.
Okay, they withdrew it.
Yes.
Do they plan on resubmitting it?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely gonna have to go, it's still gonna have to, legally has to go back up to the county. So yes.
Why would they withdraw from the county and not from the town?
Because the county looks at it from a different lens. The town, the zoning board looks at it from the zoning perspective, application of law. The town looks at it from your guys' solar ordinance. The county is supposed to look at it from how does this in Stafford affect Batavia, because they're next to each other.
The only thing is if I recall from the county's, what would you call it? They had a chart on what they were covering that night. And I thought the 2 subjects were the 2 variances that you were looking for. So that wasn't the county portion, it was the actual 2 variances that you were covering. So that may be the case, but
Yeah, that is why the application was withdrawn, was because they were looking at it from the variance perspective and not the macro perspective.
all right.
So we said if they're gonna be looking at the variance, that's not their role. Their role is to do the macro perspective, and that's why we withdrew it.
I thought county was being ahead of the game by, I thought that normally happened after,
That I'm not sure.
after the town rules.
That I'm not sure. The zoning board elected to have it be reviewed by county.
All right.
So that's what they decided last month.
And then I'm assuming it comes back here, right? After they make their
Yes.
recommendation?
Yeah, that's in the town.
So we're all clear. Has the public hearing been withdrawn from our ZBA next Monday?
Next Monday is not a public hearing.
It's not.
It's because it's still 30-ish days, not 62. The zoning board said we're probably not gonna have a public hearing, which I think is what.
Because a week ago, I was told there was gonna be by a member of the ZBA.
I haven't heard anything. I just thought Supervisor Clement just said that they did not find out.
One of the things, well, you know, but I think we're pretty much closing up here. One of the things that I want to make sure you share with the client is that the way the law is written, most of, I can't even say most, almost all of the requirements of the value agreement fall on you guys. Or it's not that we're coming up with an appraisal, it's that you're supposed to get a study that looks at the values, and then what the impact may be, and I believe you have to do a reserve to cover that, and the complaint is, well, that's all so unpredictable. Well, a lot of things are unpredictable and banks still finance them. So I guess coming from my perspective, I don't favor a variance on that, but we'll let this play out. But I'm not as convinced that this is a showstopper.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your.
I'm sorry, what was your bid, DW or?
Yes, they're a client of mine, and Dan Huntington is out of town, so.
And what was your name again?
Robert Townsley. And I will talk to them about the typos on that one page, or one page or two. Thank you.
Any further discussion here?
Kathy wanted a copy of the study. Do we have spares, or?
I have one I can give her.
I was gonna say, I've got mine too.
Yeah, I got one I can give you.
Now, do
Okay.
either one of you have the summary?
I don't have the summary.
I'll have to check.
Because you've got two volumes.
Oh, yes.
And then
Yeah, we
there's
both have both volumes. One's a summary, one's the backup information.
No. No, the history of it, you've got two volumes of that, then you have the summary in addition to that.
I don't recall there being a third book.
It wasn't in a
It
book.
was
It wasn't in a
it
book.
was stapled together summary.
Wasn't that right in the beginning of the book?
I don't think so.
We'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, Ken,
I'll get with you and.
yeah,
we
I'd be
can-
glad to, yeah,
Yeah, we just got power on a couple hours ourselves, so.
yeah. It did come out?
Yeah,
4:30, I got a
4:30.
text.
Good, yeah. No, I just got a relative that lives around the corner, and they've been out, yeah.
Anybody know what the damage was that caused all
I
the?
haven't heard nothing. I've been riding around town and around the county and I haven't seen nothing. So I don't know where it was.
For the patch that we were involved in, I saw a lot of activity on Sanders Road.
Yeah,
That
could be. I
kinda
didn't go
made
down
sense
Sanders
for
Road.
that. The Byron, the one that dominated Byron, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fox Road was pretty hit hard too.
Fox Road had two poles. They had one that leaned at a 45 and one of them snapped right in half, but it didn't break the wires. It was just dangling there for a couple days.
Well-
We had a pole come over, just right up at the neighbors, and that's what knocked us
Yeah.
out for so long.
Just since we're on the subject, a couple of things. When was the last time anybody saw those orange, what's the company, Austin Pugh out of Pennsylvania? That always would do all the trimming for, it was then Niagara Mohawk? I haven't seen one in years.
I saw one.
Supposedly they had 600 people outside of our area that came in and helped.
No, that's true. I'm talking about
Maybe.
The trimming.
trimming prior.
Yeah,
Prior to the storm,
Yeah.
seems to have gone away.
Yeah, I haven't.
I haven't felt one like that in a long time.
It was crazy.
It's pretty good.
And then they've outsourced all their construction crews, so again, you don't have that resource to draw from. So I was worried we were gonna get like a 3-4 day outage.
We had 3, I had a total of 3 days.
Somebody, some of them did, yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got anything, Ron, you wanna discuss, aside from what's been on the agenda?
No, we covered enough here.
Yeah.
I have a number of things. First of all, we need to put out to bid the cleaning for the town hall. As of January 1st, we're going to be needing the services. So can we get an ad put in the paper and have a date where we can get bids back that we can vote on at the next town board meeting?
We need a spec.
I thought there was one written up
I don't think so.
a couple months ago, because Steve had one circulating.
That's what we were waiting for. Because if you look at it, the budget's already set. We were doing it internally, and coming out of budget, we said, you know, this is something we should look at bidding. And Steve said, I'll look into getting a spec and a bid on it.
Let me talk to Steve.
So that's where that left off.
I just don't want the town hall to go a couple of months without being cleaned.
But it's budgeted for, is what this letter's saying, she's not doing it? All right.
No, I mean,
She should be doing it right up on the last.
so she'll be doing it up till the last time, but
No, I mean into the new budget year. We passed a budget that contained cleaning
it says
services.
the intention is that the position as cleaner for town hall is to be put out for bids for 2022.
Yeah, well, reading the entire letter. At the hearing for the tentative budget for 2022, it was brought to my attention that the position as cleaner for the town was to be put out for bid.
Yes.
Well, we still passed a budget that included that being done internally.
I think that she needs to be notified of that.
All right.
That's all.
But you can let her know that, well, she should know, she was the one that was complaining that it was $60 off.
No, that was her other salary.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, next, we got an email from Marcy. Basically said, is this something you'll have to take care of with current town clerk and Kevin Andrews from the county? It came from Stephanie Davis Reese from county taxes. It said, this is typically a town clerk question, but with the situation of a new incoming clerk, I just wanted to follow up with you instead, or let me know who I should speak to otherwise, as a reminder that our county clerk and treasurer's office still need the Town of Stafford certificate of insurance and resolution for undertaking for town collector, which we will need to receive prior to the bills getting picked up from our office.
Don't they have that?
They just, the insurance company just sent information for town collector to be insured.
What's
The
that?
new, our insurance company just sent the information for our new town collector.
Because this was dated today.
Yeah, well, that crossed. I just got it.
They also needed the resolution.
Yeah, we got that's in the works someplace.
And then, let me see where I'm at here. Okay, my last thing is I have a resolution I'd like to propose. I don't know, what is the next resolution number, do we know?
43.
I'm sorry?
42 is on today.
Oh, 43? I have copies if anybody wants them, but here it is. Here, I'll take one. It says, whereas the town clerk of the town of Stafford will be leaving office on December 30th, 2021. Whereas the town clerk position will be filled by means of a special election on January 21st, 2022 by Barbara Bradley.
Whoa. General election, not special.
No, I wrote general, I'm sorry. Did I say special? Okay, it's general, and that's what I have written.
That's what it says on there, is general.
So whereas due to the change in elected position, an audit is requested for the following items for a period of 4 years from January 1, 2018 through December 30, 2021. They are as follows. All town board minutes approved, filed, and posted on the town website. All resolutions properly recorded and filed. That all laws passed by the town board have been filed with New York State and received and filed correctly in the town's office. All cash, check, and credit card transactions have been recorded and reconciled. Marriage licenses, death certificates, handicap parking permits have been properly administered, recorded, and filed. And lastly, all FOIL requests have been properly recorded and addressed within the proper time period. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the Town of Stafford hereby authorizes hiring an independent auditing firm to examine said records and report findings back to the supervisor of the Town of Stafford by March 1, 2022. That's my motion.
All right, so it would be where we would have an independent auditor look at all these items to give us basically a freeze frame of where we are at the end of one term and starting into another.
That is correct.
And you're aware of the fact that the current auditing, Fried Maxick is not going to be our auditor anymore.
I found that out, yesterday.
They backed out there, they're not going to do that. Same thing with the town of Batavia. I talked to Heidi about it, and the last I knew, the town of Batavia hadn't come up with a new auditor. And I don't know, we kind of kicked this around, we don't really know who we're going to find to perform this kind of an audit.
That's why I voted an independent auditing firm, because I knew that Fried Maxick wouldn't be available to do it, but it's our job to find somebody.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of towns out there that get audits every year, so we gotta find somebody who does auditing work. That's my motion.
All right, well, it's straightforward, I'll second it.
yeah. Okay. Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Panek. This would be resolution number what?
43.
43. Roll call.
Councilman James Duyssen,
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer,
Yes.
Councilman Don Mullen,
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek,
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement.
Yes. All that being said, any assistance as far as finding someone to perform this kind of an audit would be greatly appreciated.
I thought I might send a letter to GAM, all the people in GAM that are on the mailing list, and just send the email out and ask other towns who they're using for auditing firms and see what kind of reaction we get back. That's where I figured we could start,
Yeah, that would be great.
because I have all the GAM emails.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And that takes care of everything I got.
Well, on that note, I'm glad you brought that up. I did have an accountant look at the books moving forward, knowing the window is closing. And I'll report with an email and a letter from them as soon as we're done.
So anything you have would be helpful for
Yeah,
whoever's auditing?
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, before we go on past that, we're talking about if you have an accountant you're doing a financial audit, right? So that would be the cash, credit, and transactions have been recorded and reconciled, am I right?
Yes,
All right, so that's one out of all of these.
correct.
A lot of these are procedural compliance. All town board minutes approved, filed, posted on the town website. Right now, if you look, well, I handed that out last month, we have about a third of our minutes are not on the website.
That's what prompted me to do this.
So we need to find where those minutes are. I was able, and if you recall from what I handed out, I was able to track down where there were ones that were approved, but then never made it to the website. So,
A few more made it to the website this past week.
I just
I just want to let
checked.
you know that.
All right, I just checked, and it's, I didn't see any. All right, again, resolutions properly recorded and filed, that's, you could almost ask for another town clerk to do this off, if,
It's true. Because they would be very familiar with that. I do work for them.
all right. All right, so yeah, again, if you've had we have something on the cash, check, and credit card transactions, that's part of it. But the other ones are compliance audits. And that may be, what's her name? Worked for Freed Maxim. Laura Lander, she might be familiar with all this,
She
but
retired, and that's why they're
getting out of it. But I also heard that she might help with the transition. If we're covering things we hear. So, all right.
I do have another subject here. I would like to ask the town board and make a motion that we hire an attorney, a specialized attorney in solar law, to take a look at our solar law as it stands, and to take a look at the applications submitted by BW Solar as they relate to the solar law. That's my motion.
All right. I would recommend the same guy that we used before,
Solid?
Solid, see if he's available.
The Robert Solid?
Slouchy?
Swatch.
Yeah. Slouchy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second to that?
Oh, second.
I can write that out for you, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'll send it to you if you don't mind. Okay?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
vote on that.
Councilman James Deason,
Yes.
Councilman Robert Pacer,
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Panek,
Yes.
Councilman Donald Mullen,
Yes.
Supervisor Robert Clement.
Yes.
Thank
Doesn't the
you.
town have an attorney on this already?
We have our town attorney, but we'd like to get somebody more specialized in the field.
Makes sense.
No, we were going to do that, and we put a $2,500.
No, that's different. That was on the, what you call, yeah, the zoning violations. Which we should have a meeting on anyways, because I think our priorities need to swap around on that.
Well, at any
Especially
rate,
given our budget.
at any rate, we put a $2,500 retainer on it, and they said that that's not gonna work, it wouldn't work, that's not enough. And I'm sure that would apply to this also.
Well, this at least lets me reach out to them and get fees,
How do we do that?
this year. I can reach out to them.
Okay,
I have his phone number.
yeah, okay, good, thank you.
Don't forget, this is, just as an aside, our law not only got reviewed by our attorney, but it's been copied by other towns. I know Leroy copied big parts of it. I know Alexander copied it exactly. So it's seen a lot of look-sees, so.
Sandy spent an awful lot of time on it.
So, just like to get another set of eyes on it.
I don't know, you guys have been talking so long, I forgot. No, I'm all set right now, thanks.
Were we gonna do anything with what Linda Snell was talking about, dressing up telephone poles or something?
Flags?
Doing the flags or whatever she was talking?
Yeah, no, that was what, I haven't heard from her, I don't know how far she is.
Last time I talked to Linda about it, the lady was sick and was having family issues, but she was gonna try and get Linda some samples, because somebody wanted to see samples of the various types of flags that we could do.
Okay. Any further business?
Who's in charge of lighting the Christmas tree in the park? See, that's not lit tonight. Anybody in charge of that?
I went over and pressed the reset button and it makes it work, but my question would be, how come it keeps kicking off?
What, the Christmas?
The breaker on it, the reset breaker?
Christmas tree. It wasn't just the high winds, it just kicks itself off. I put it on a couple of times.
Gotta shorten it somewhere.
There's too many lights on the breaker.
I'm sure it's a ground fault circuit because it's outside. So I imagine we got water somewhere.
There's a little cover over it that flips open and it doesn't.
Did we add any new strings of lights from last year?
I really think we even have less.
The breaker could be bad too, because I got one in my house that keeps doing that. You gotta change the breaker out.
Usually, Steve handles looking into stuff at the two parks.
I'll send them an
Oh, I
email.
didn't see
All right.
this one.
I'll get a hold of Steve for it.
I just noticed it tonight when I come around the corner. I said, they're not even lit.
Oh.
Steve will be back later in the week.
You don't know what his schedule is.
All right.
No, I'm looking for that. This?
Here, use this one, Bob.
Thank you.
This one.
Thank you, thank you.
And then the others are down there.
Mm-hmm. The others are down there too.
No, this isn't what I'm looking for.
You put it out there, and the others are down there.
No, but there's a sheet that shows all of them listed out with the amount.
Neil? Oh,
No, that one.
You were on the back of the
Sit and do it on that.
agenda.
I don't need it.
There we go. I got it.
got it?
Well, I'm going to read.
This is for November, Bob. This isn't for December.
It's November.
Yeah, that's November. This is one number here.
Well, here, why don't we just take a copy and just fill it in? Take the old copy. All right, so
I make motion, we pay highway abstract 12, 6,190 for 0.36.
Really? Oh, you want to die?
Second.
Motion to pay water fund. Oh, okay.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Duyssen to pay highway abstract number 12 in the amount of $6,194.36. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I make a motion we pay water fund, abstract 12. It's various water districts, 4, 6, and 7, for a total of $21,820.48.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Duyssen to pay water extract number 12 an amount of $21,820.48. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I make general fund?
Yep.
I make a motion that we pay general fund number 12 for a total of $53,328. The big hitters in it are $6,400 to Boylan Law Office for various handbooks, solar, Sunny Solar, BW Solar, and Crocker. So those telephone calls aren't for free. The other thing that's in here is the September share that goes to the state of $16,126, and the October share for the state of fines of $11,233. If you recall doing the bills before, they used to be substantially higher. Now this is the state's portion, but realize our portion will be down also. Thank you.
Who seconded?
Bob?
Motion by Councilman Panek, second by Councilman Pacer to pay general fund abstract the amount of $53,328. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you have a couple?
There's another one too.
I did water fund. You got another one?
There's no.
Yeah, there should be like a spindle in there. So I gave them to Jimmy, but
I sent him down there.
Motion to pay capital projects. Abstract 12, $6,630.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Dees for capital projects. Abstract 12 in the amount of $6,630. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That should be it, right?
that should be it. Motion to adjourn?
What's about, one more thing, is it my imagination, is the light out there, the overhead light, the street light that's supposed to be for the driveway, is that out?
For the driveway?
Yeah, I know
The
so.
driveway is awful dark.
It is dark, I noticed it tonight when I pulled in. Can't even see the entrance of the driveway.
So it's not my mind.
No, it's not. I noticed it
I
before.
don't know.
It's out.
Could
It's
you
been out.
include that in your email, Steve, along with the breaker?
Okay,
So we
that's
can
all.
call National Grid on that.
All right.
Sure. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
He thinks I'm not gonna
They're
get
all,
to work.
they're a little busy right now.
Yeah.
yeah, they're all busy. I'll fix it in the spring.
While we're out there, they could. Okay, with no further business, a motion to adjourn at 9:15.
Thank you for that.
Well, like we
I
said.
know it was a while back, it was dark.
It's gonna have to be made up in the future. Careful who you elect at the state.
It's like I told Ken tonight.